The story begins with a man named Tatsu, who had tattoos all over his body. It was revealed that Tatsu used to be a member of the Yakuza, a powerful and feared gang in Japan. People admired and respected Tatsu because he was incredibly strong and could defeat anyone who dared to challenge him. They even gave him the nickname Eternal Dragon because of his toughness and bravery. However, one day, Tatsu decided he no longer wanted to be part of the Yakuza. He longed for a peaceful and ordinary life with his family. So, he left the gang behind and became a house husband, taking care of his home and loved ones. In the present, Tatsu's days were filled with simple tasks like cooking and cleaning. Every morning, he would prepare breakfast and lunch for his wife, Miku, who worked hard to support their family, and their young daughter, Himawari. One morning, as Miku and Himawari were about to sit down for breakfast, they noticed a large cockroach scurrying across the dining room floor. Tatsu quickly sprang into action, trying to catch the pesky insect. Just as the cockroach landed on Tatsu's chest, Miku grabbed a newspaper and swung at it, but she accidentally hit Tatsu instead. After the chaotic cockroach incident, Tatsu handed Miku and Himawari their packed meals, and they headed out for the day. Later that day, Tatsu met up with his friend Masaru. Apparently, they had a job to collecting monthly fees from the people in their neighborhood. Even though Tatsu had left the Yakuza, his tattoos and tough appearance still made the neighbors a little nervous. However, these fees were important because they were used for things like neighborhood security, local festivals, and maintaining the gardens in the area. As they went about their task, Tatsu and Masaru noticed a new building in the neighborhood and decided to visit the owner to collect the fee. To their surprise, the owner turned out to be a Yakuza boss named Kondo. At first, Kondo didn't recognize Tatsu, but one of his men whispered something in his ear, and Kondo suddenly became very anxious. At that moment, Kondo immediately remembered a time when he had slipped on a wet floor that Tatsu was cleaning and had been scolded by him. Now, seeing Tatsu again, Kondo feared that Tatsu had come for revenge. As a result, he quickly told his men to be on high alert. Masaru, who was suspicious of Kondo and his group, immediately informed Iguchi, the local Yakuza boss who used to be Tatsu's boss. Iguchi and Masaru were having a serious discussion when Iguchi's wife, Hibari, who was also involved in the Yakuza, arrived. At that moment, Shibari reminded Iguchi that they needed to focus on making money to cover their living expenses. Since Iguchi was working as a security guard and Hibari was busy as a cashier at a convenience store, they had to put off dealing with the new Yakuza threat for the time being. Several days later, Tatsu and his family were having a conversation about their pet hamster. Apparently, the family realized that they could no longer take care of it and decided it would be best to find it a new home. Moments later, Tatsu thought of giving the hamster to someone passing by on the street. However, when a police officer named Suda noticed Tatsu trying to hide the hamster inside his jacket, he became suspicious. Tatsu's tough appearance made Suda think he might be hiding something dangerous, like a weapon, so he decided to stop and search him. At the same time, Tatsu didn't want to get into trouble with the police, so he quickly ran into a nearby building, still holding the hamster. The building happened to be owned by Kondo, the Yakuza boss. When Tatsu rushed in, everyone inside thought he was there to cause trouble or attack Kondo. A fight broke out, and Kondo's men tried to stop Tatsu. But Tatsu was an expert in martial arts, so he easily fought off Kondo's men and managed to escape through a window just as the police arrived. Out on the streets, Tatsu was still being chased by the police, who wanted to question him. Luckily, a neighbor who knew Tatsu saw what was happening and quickly informed Iguchi and some others. They wanted to help Tatsu avoid the police and get away safely. As Tatsu was riding a bicycle to escape, he accidentally bumped into Masaru, who was also trying to help him. This caused Tatsu to get stuck, with the police blocking his path. Tatsu tried to carefully take the hamster out of his pocket to explain the situation, but the police officers thought he was reaching for a weapon. Tatsu had to stay calm and explain that he was only trying to find a new home for his pet hamster. Once the police realized their mistake, Officer Suda felt bad and offered to adopt the hamster himself, which made Tatsu very happy. When Tatsu finally returned home, he was completely worn out after the chaotic day with the hamster and the police. Miku, his wife, decided to cook dinner for the family. However, it turned out that Miku wasn't very good at cooking. She struggled to even cut the vegetables properly, and the meal she prepared didn't taste good at all. But she was determined to do something nice for the family, so Tatsu quietly ate the food without complaining, even though it was hard to swallow. As they ate, Mika brought up the idea of going on a family vacation when summer arrived. But Tatsu felt uneasy about the idea. He was worried that his family might be in danger because he believed some of his old enemies from his Yakuza days still held grudges against him. The thought of leaving home and being exposed made him nervous, so he wasn't too excited about the vacation plan. While Tatsu and his family were still discussing their summer vacation plans, they suddenly heard the sound of a child crying outside their house. Curious, Himawari went to investigate and found a young boy sitting alone, as if he had been left there on purpose. Tatsu and his family were shocked by this discovery and decided to call the police to help find the boy's parents. While waiting the police, Tatsu went to the store to buy diapers and other supplies, as they planned to take care of the boy until his family could be located. At the store, the employee noticed Tatsu buying a large number of diapers and assumed that Miku had just had a new baby. This rumor quickly spread, and soon Iguchi and others from the neighborhood showed up at Tatsu's house to congratulate him on the new addition to the family. Tatsu was completely surprised by their visit and had to explain the real situation, that they had found the boy abandoned outside their home. Fortunately, everyone agreed to help take care of the boy, whom they named Ryu, until his parents could be found. Since Ryu came into their lives, Tatsu seemed happier than ever. He and Masaru even took Ryu to the park to play with other children his age. However, Tatsu's intimidating appearance scared some of the mothers at the park, and they quickly gathered their kids and left. Despite this, Tatsu was determined to give Ryu a happy and normal childhood. Not long after, Tatsu received a call from a friend who needed his help. It was revealed that some Yakuza members had shown up at a local kindergarten and were causing trouble. After leaving Ryu in Masaru's care, Tatsu rushed to the kindergarten, where Kondo's gang was pressuring a teacher named Miesi to sign some papers. Despite this, Miesi bravely stood her ground and shouted at the Yakuza members to leave. When Tatsu arrived, Kondo's men recognized him and immediately became frightened, deciding to leave without causing further trouble. Tatsu then spoke with Miesi, who explained that Kondo's gang wanted to buy the kindergarten and turn it into a supermarket. When the school refused, the gang began using threats and intimidation, forcing many of the children to transfer to other schools. After hearing Miesei's story, Tatsu's friend asked him to help protect the kindergarten, especially since Tatsu's martial arts skills could help stop the violence. When Tatsu returned home, he discussed the situation with Miku, who agreed to let him help, but only if he promised not to use violence. Tatsu agreed, and soon he met up with his old friend Torijiro, who had also left the Yakuza, to come up with a plan to protect the kindergarten. While Tatsu and Torijiro were talking, their strong personalities made it seem like they were arguing. Torijiro's younger sister, Koharu, saw this and tried to intervene by taking a swing at Tatsu. However, Tatsu easily dodged her, leaving her standing in front of Torijiro's car. Being so close to Tatsu made Koharu secretly develop feelings for him, though she didn't say anything. Back at home, Masaru was talking to Miku about how much Ryu resembled Tatsu. He began to wonder if Ryu might actually be Tatsu's child from another woman. Mika didn't like this idea at all and slapped Masaru for even suggesting it. But deep down, she couldn't help feeling a little uncertain herself. Several days later, Tatsu and Masaru decided to help Miesi save the kindergarten from closing by promoting it to attract more students. They even agreed to be part of a promotional video to show how welcoming and fun the kindergarten was. However, Tatsu's serious and tough expression didn't exactly make the video look warm or inviting. Miesi grew frustrated because Tatsu struggled to show a softer, friendlier side on camera. When the video was finally posted on social media, Koharu, Torijiro's younger sister, saw it and immediately rushed to the kindergarten. She applied for a teaching job there, secretly hoping to spend more time near Tatsu. Around the same time, Tatsu enrolled Ryu as the kindergarten's first student. Ryu quickly bonded with Koharu, who was now working at the school. This made Masaru even more suspicious. He began to wonder if Koharu was the woman Tatsu had been involved with. and if she might be Ryu's mother. Masaru quietly shared his suspicions with Miku, which only made her doubt Tatsu even more. She couldn't shake the feeling that there might be more to the story. The next day, a Yakuza group led by a man named Osuriyama arrived at the kindergarten. Tatsu immediately prepared for a possible fight, but Osuriyama was nervous when he saw Tatsu. He explained that they weren't there to cause trouble. They just wanted to enroll Osuriyama's grandson in the kindergarten. He even asked Tatsu to keep an eye on his grandson, and Tatsu agreed. With that, the kindergarten gained another student. Meanwhile, Mika's curiosity about Koharu grew. She decided to visit the kindergarten to see who this woman was that everyone was talking about. When Miku and Koharu met, tensions rose, and they ended up arguing. To settle things, they challenged each other to a competition at the school's upcoming sports festival. Tatsu found himself stuck in the middle, trying to keep the peace between the two. When the day of the sports festival arrived, the atmosphere was lively and fun. Iguchi and his Yakuza group even joined in to make the event more exciting. At the same time, Miku, Koharu, and others were all eager to compete for the top prize. After Hibari rang the gong to start the games, the competition began. Mika's team did especially well in a game where they had to grab their opponent's hairbands. Not only that, Miku also managed to defeat her opponent and then faced off against Koharu. After a tough and intense match, Miku successfully grabbed Koharu's hairband and won the competition. Moments later, the festival continued with even more excitement as everyone cheered for Ryu and Osuriyama's grandson during a race. That night, Kondo, the Yakuza boss, watched a video of the kindergarten sports festival online. He was frustrated to see the school thriving despite his efforts to shut it down. Determined to cause trouble, he decided to visit the kindergarten the next day with his gang. When Kondo arrived, he expected Tatsu to recognize him, but Tatsu didn't remember him at all. This made Kondo even angrier, and he tried to attack Tatsu. However, Koharu stepped in and hit Kondo to stop him. Although Kondo left after threatening to get revenge on Koharu, she wanted to chase after him and confront him. Tatsu, however, stopped her and calmly talked her down, reminding her that violence wasn't the answer. As time passed, Mia's kindergarten continued to grow, welcoming more and more students. This was largely thanks to Tatsu's efforts to protect the school and keep it safe. One day, while Tatsu was watching over Ryu during a break at the edge of the school field, he felt a deep sense of gratitude. Being at the kindergarten gave him a feeling of warmth and family that he had always longed for. Mika noticed how happy her husband was and felt pleased that Ryu's presence had brought their family closer together. However, she still had lingering suspicions about Koharu. To clear the air, Miku invited Koharu for a private conversation. During their talk, Mika directly asked Koharu if she was Ryu's mother. Koharu firmly denied it, explaining that she had never been pregnant and didn't have any children. Hearing this, Miku felt a wave of relief. However, she also discovered that Koharu had feelings for Tatsu, which led to another argument between the two women. Just as their conversation grew heated, a loud crash interrupted them. A car had smashed into the school gate, startling everyone. Everyone rushed to see what had happened. They saw a black car with masked men inside, trying to kidnap Himawari and Ryu. At that moment, Masaru bravely tried to stop them, but he was thrown to the ground and hit his head, leaving him seriously injured. Seeing this, Miyase quickly sprang into action, driving a car and calling for Tatsu and Torijiro to join her so they could chase the kidnappers. Koharu followed closely behind on a motorcycle. As Miyase's car got closer to the kidnapper's vehicle, Tatsu attempted to jump into the car where Himawari and Ryu were being held. Moments later, he ended up hanging from the side door of the moving car. In response, Torijiro tried to help by jumping onto the kidnapper's car as well, but he accidentally hit a road barrier and was thrown onto Koharu's motorcycle. Despite the chaos, Tatsu managed to climb into the kidnapper's car and take down all the masked men, saving his daughter and Ryu. After the rescue, everyone rushed to the hospital where Masaru was being treated for his serious head injury. As Masaru remained unconscious, Tatsu felt a burning anger. He suspected that Kondo, the Yakuza boss, was behind the kidnapping. Unable to keep his promise to avoid violence, Tatsu said goodbye to Miku and left with Torijiro to confront Kondo at his hideout. When they arrived, Kondo's henchmen were ready for a fight. Tatsu challenged Kondo and his men to meet him at a specific location for a final showdown. Kondo, feeling confident, accepted the challenge without hesitation. In the days leading up to the big fight, Tatsu and his friends prepared carefully. Even after Masaru woke up, he joined in to help Tatsu by selecting weapons and gathering supplies. At the same time, the whole town was buzzing with excitement and fear as rumors spread about the upcoming battle between Tatsu and Kondo. When Kondo's men told him about Tatsu's preparations, he grew irritated. To make matters worse, Oshiroyama, another Yakuza leader, showed up and offered to team up with Kondo. Oshiroyama claimed he had a grudge against Tatsu from the past and wanted to help defeat him. With the support of other Yakuza groups, Kondo felt more confident about winning the fight. On the day of the battle, Tatsu said goodbye to Miku, who hoped he would return with a renewed spirit. Meanwhile, Kondo and his men arrived at the battleground, which was filled with thick smoke, making it hard to see. Soon after, they heard loud noises and thought Tatsu's forces were shooting at them. But when the smoke cleared, they realized it wasn't a battle at all. It was a cultural festival, complete with fireworks and celebrations. An angry Kondo ordered Oshiroyama to attack, but he refused. Oshiroyama revealed that he had been working undercover all along, gathering evidence of Kondo's illegal activities. Apparently, his plan was to have Kondo and his gang arrested by the police, who were already at the festival. Feeling cornered and betrayed, Kondo exploded with anger. He shouted threats, vowing to take down Tatsu and everyone who stood against him. At that moment, Tatsu finally reached his patience with Kondo's arrogance, and a fierce fight broke out between Tatsu's group and Kondo's gang. The battle was intense, and for a moment, it seemed like Tatsu's group was struggling against Kondo's henchmen. But then, Koharu arrived on her unique motorcycle, joining the fight to help turn the tide. Meanwhile, Kondo, desperate and furious, grabbed a katana and charged at Tatsu. Unexpectedly, Tatsu's incredible martial arts skills were no match for the Yakuza leader. With calm precision, Tatsu disarmed Kondo and defeated him, leaving the once powerful boss humbled and powerless. With Kondo's gang defeated, the atmosphere at the festival shifted to one of relief and celebration. Tatsu, however, still had questions. He confronted Kondo, demanding to know if he was behind the kidnapping of his daughter, Himawari, and Ryu. To his surprise, Kondo admitted he had nothing to do with it. Before they could dig deeper, the police arrived, but not to arrest Kondo. Instead, they took Tatsu and Miku into custody, accusing them of kidnapping Ryu. Both Tatsu and Miku were stunned. They had been caring for Ryu ever since he was left in front of their house, believing they were doing the right thing. As the truth unfolded, it turned out that the real kidnappers were two mysterious men who had taken Ryu to ransom him from his parents. When they tried to move Ryu, they spotted police patrolling nearby and panicked, leaving the boy in front of Tatsu's house. Their plan was to kidnap Ryu again from his kindergarten, but their scheme fell apart before they could carry it out. Sometime later, after Tatsu and Miku were cleared of the charges and released, they faced a bittersweet moment. It was time to say goodbye to Ryu, who was finally going back to his real parents. With heavy hearts, they watched as Masaru took Ryu home, knowing they had done their best to care for him during his time with them. The story ended with Tatsu returning to his quiet life as a family man. Though he would miss Ryu, he felt content and grateful for the small, loving family he had built with Miku and Himawari. Moral lesson from the story: if you're a former Yakuza with tattoos, always carry a hamster to explain why you're running from the police. It's less suspicious than looking tough while holding diapers. And if you adopt a random child, make sure the whole neighborhood doesn't think it's your secret love child.